Productions, where today we are going to be, we're making a video. We're making a news update. So, you've already read the title and seen the thumbnail. So, you know that, okay, we're not going to be talking about that. Yep. Let's get into it. So, we'll go. Okay, so, this is a apparently leaked, quote-unquote, image of a quote-unquote new figure, a new Carnotaurus figure from Mattel. Now, Dropscal posted this, but nobody's really sure whether or not this figure is an actual figure that they're planning on releasing, or if this is just a prototype for the Control and Conquer. I have a feeling that this is just a prototype for the Control and Conquer that got leaked somehow. But, so, this, I have a feeling, was Mattel, like, testing out what the figure would look like in the packaging, like, in the finished packaging. I don't think that this is going to be, like, an invisible Carnotaurus figure, especially not for Camp Cretaceous, because if it is going to be for Camp Cretaceous, then, you know, they might as well have it in the Camp Cretaceous box, but it's just in the normal Primo Attack box. Also, the reason why I think it's all clear plastic is because they didn't want to waste the plastic that they used for the actual Control and Conquer figure down here. They didn't want to use all of that, like, orange, plastic on it, so they just molded it in clear, so again, you could just get a basic look at what it is going to look like whenever it's finished. I don't think that this is going to be a figure. If this is a figure that's going to be released, awesome. This figure looks really cool. It's a really cool idea, and, yeah, but, you know, like, I'm just thinking, like, I'm just saying, I really hope that I get proven wrong, but I don't think that this is an actual figure that's going to come out with, like, a, you know, like a camouflage Carnotaurus. As awesome as that would be, just, again, I don't think that that's the case. I think this is just a prototype, so, yeah. In other news, we have some Camp Cretaceous reveals that were leaked. So, first off, we have a leaked image of Bumpy, Mattel's Bumpy action figure. We got that leaked in packaging, so we know what the Camp Cretaceous Attack Pack packaging is going to look like, and also some new inclusions as well. So let's just get into it. So here is the Bumpy figure in the Camp Cretaceous packaging, and you can see Ankylosaurus Bumpy down here, and then you got Toro, and then the actual character designs, like the full character designs. They're not just silhouettes, and then this over here we'll also get into in a second. You can see it right there. But, okay. So this, all these images came from, Australia, I think, is where it came from. But, I guess, either somebody bought this, so Camp Cretaceous stuff is already coming out, or this is, like, in some Mattel warehouse, maybe? I don't know. But this person got it somehow and opened it as well, with the finalized packaging. We can, again, see the human characters. So, let's take a closer look at them. Here they are. So, these are the human characters. Now, we shouldn't be allowed to judge them yet. You guys should not be allowed to judge them yet. I'm talking to the Jurassic community, because everybody is going crazy about these designs. Most of them dislike them because they're too quote-unquote generic. But we can't judge these designs until we see them in motion, and these aren't even the full designs. I wouldn't think these are probably just promo images. These are just 2D printed out images of the characters. Until we get until we get a trailer for Camp Cretaceous where we see these characters moving and, the full 3D look of them and the shading and all that stuff, then we can judge how bad they look or how good they look. I think that the designs themselves, yeah, they're kind of basic, but I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't expecting much. Um, I really was expecting this because DreamWorks also on Netflix made like this Fast and Furious spinoff show. But DreamWorks did it in Universal. Basically the same thing that's happening with Camp Cretaceous. And those character designs were pretty generic. So I was thinking, okay, so, the character designs in this aren't going to be particularly groundbreaking. They're going to be kind of generic, which, I'm not going to lie. But again, we can't judge them yet. Also, these are just 3 of the 6. There might have been the other 6. I don't know, though. I don't know if those are actual leaked images of the other 3 characters, or if those are just different characters, but whatever. So, yeah, here they are. And presumably this is Darius, who got a leaked character description. He's like some dinosaur nerd, I think, is what his character is. But yeah, so there's the designs. Also, getting back into what is included in this. Okay, if it'll load. Okay, here we go. So this is what it comes with. Now, we can also see the full designs of the characters as well, so we can see their legs. This is the full image of them, so you can kind of get an idea of that. But it comes with, like, this map, it almost looks like, and I think that this image with Toro is on the back. So, it comes with, like, a sort of map, almost, and then it comes with stickers, and you're meant to put these stickers on where the characters are, so, they're silhouetted. So you just put those on there. Which is kind of interesting. But, it's kind of cool. So, so I'm assuming that this is going to be events in the show. So, if we're going off of that, then of course we're going to meet Bumpy right here, which we get a look of, I would assume, what Bumpy's going to look like in the show right here. And it doesn't look that bad. It doesn't look as cartoony as the figure does. I have seen, like, a blown-up image of this, though, and it looks really not that bad, but, you put the sticker there. So it looks like they're going to encounter Bumpy, of course. Then they're going to encounter Blue as well, which is kind of interesting. Then they're going to encounter Roberta, of course. Then they're going to encounter a Stegosaurus, which is kind of cool. And then, of course, they're going to encounter Toro. Now, we've already got Indominus Rex stuff from Camp Cretaceous. The Super Colossal Indominus is in the Camp Cretaceous packaging, and there's also the Feeding Frenzy Indominus. So, I think that it's pretty safe to assume that they're also going to encounter the Indominus and everything like that. And also, Charlie, I would assume. I don't know if this show is going to be in continuity with the films. I'm just going to say, it's going to be loosely canon. I have a feeling this is going to be, like, more of a alternate universe, where Charlie doesn't explode, explode in the first act, or maybe that was the second act of Jurassic World. Yeah, no, that was the second act, yeah. But yeah, just like an alternate timeline where events don't take place exactly in the order that they do in Jurassic World. Just, yeah. Enough with that, though. We're not here for that. So, yeah, so on the FYE store, I think, we got some leaked, quote-unquote leaked, descriptions of Godzilla vs. Kong Funko Pops. So, here's one. So, we have Godzilla vs. Kong Pop, 2 MT. So, we have a... So, if you've seen my leaked Godzilla vs. Kong figure video, where I talked about the leaked description of all of the GVK Funko Pops, they are all pretty much 100%, 100% true, proven by these listings. So this, spoilers, I suppose, this could either be Mechagodzilla, the Mechagodzilla Funko Pop, or it could be perhaps Kong with his axe, is the other one that it could be. Or it could be something else. And then we have Battle Ready Kong as well, which I think is Angry Kong, it was listed as. So this is going to be Battle Ready Kong. Or Battle Ready Kong could be Kong with his axe. And then the Angry Kong, for some reason, could be one of these unlisted ones. Then we have Godzilla vs. Kong Keychain 3. So this is going to be a keychain. So we don't know what this is going to be, because we didn't know that there was going to be keychains. We knew that there was going to be 10-inch. We know that there was going to be 10-inch Funko Pops, which there are. But we did know that there was going to be keychain Funko Pops for GBK, which, of course, there are, because there's this one, which is unlisted. So I maybe think it's a keychain of Kong with his axe, I would think. But yeah, and then we have over here Kong 10, which is the 10-inch Kong figure, which is really cool. So, yeah, there's that. That's confirmed. Then we have Godzilla vs. Kong Pop 1, which, again, could either be Mechagodzilla or Kong with his axe, or Angry Kong. I think it's one of the two. And then we have Battle Scarred Kong as well, which I believe was Injured Kong, it was called. Or Battle Worn Kong, it was called on the listing. So this is going to be like, I don't know, maybe he's got some blood on him or something. So that's kind of cool. Then we have 10-inch Godzilla. So we got a 10-inch Godzilla figure. And we have Heat Ray Godzilla as well, which is Atomic Breath Godzilla. Godzilla doing his atomic breath. Which is really cool. So, yeah. You can see the pricing on here is very expensive. I didn't know that the 10-inch figures were this expensive, but apparently they are. But, yeah, so that's it for all of the Funko Pop Godzilla vs. Kong listings. So, yeah, that's it. So now we get into what you've been waiting for, the entire video. What's next? Oh, okay, yeah, sorry, no, I missed one. So, we're also going to get another keychain of Godzilla. So it's going to be a keychain of Godzilla. And then there's also going to be just a normal Godzilla Funko Pop for GBK as well. So now we're getting into the juicy stuff. So, here is an image of the new Godzilla, prequel, I suppose, graphic novel. So, if you didn't know, there were 4 confirmed books at the WonderCon at Home panel, which I will hopefully put down in the description if I remember to, of this video. But they hosted like a half-an-hour panel talking about 4 new Godzilla vs. Kong centered books. So 2 were 2 graphic novels. So for Godzilla 2014, we got Godzilla Awakening, which is not really even canon anymore. For Kong Skull Island, we got Skull Island, The Birth of Kong. Then, for Godzilla King of the Monsters, we got Godzilla Aftershock. Now for Godzilla vs. Kong, we're getting a Godzilla-centered one, which is this one, and then we're getting a Kong-centered one, which is the one that we're gonna get into in a second. And they also revealed like a picture book of Kong, so that's presumably maybe a different book than the children's book that's also coming out for Godzilla vs. Kong, which is like called Godzilla vs. Kong. I think sometimes friends fight, but they always make up after, I think was the title of it. And then they also confirmed the art book, of course. But these are some drawings of, I would assume early drawings as well, of the Godzilla-centered graphic novel for GVK. So I'm not too sure if these are going to get colorized, or if these are the final images. Like, they're going to be black and white. Like, the book is going to be black and white the whole time. I would assume that this is probably going to be colored. But, yeah. So, we have this image of Godzilla, underwater, it seems. Like, you got a bunch of fish and stuff. So, that's really cool. You can see he's kind of got his 2019 spines. And, yeah, let's get into the next one. So, again, here we have Godzilla, walking on the ocean floor. Looks really cool. And, again, you can get some light rays, you got the fish. Lots of copy-pasted fish on here. There's, like, 4 of the same fish on here. But, yeah, this looks really cool. Really awesome. Again, really hope this is going to get colorized. I mean, I think that if it does stay this black and white, it's going to look awesome, too. I'll get into okay, so yeah, this definitely is an early image. I don't think that this is going to be an image in the book, of course. This is just like sort of a drawing, sort of like, I would assume, to help the illustrator with, like, sort of getting a feel of drawing Godzilla. So this is probably like him practicing, I would assume. You can see his tail is a little bit more sharpened, I guess, like the 2014, where it's a bit more like a pointy. Same with the spines, they look a lot more pointy, but I think that this is just the drawing looking like that. I don't think that his design is going to change. Then we have, again, another one, where it looks like it's his 2014 spines. Yeah, those are totally his 2014 spines, especially this one right here. So it looks like this is 2014 design. It's even got the 2014 feet as well. Yeah, so this is a 2014 Godzilla design, drawing, oddly enough. Oh, yes, so here's a really cool image. So, it's like a split image of Godzilla, over here, underwater. And then you've got, like, this almost sort of, like, structure of Godzilla, where it looks like it's, it's all blackened out, but you can see, like, all of his veins, and even, like, his brain up here, which is super interesting. And you've got, like, all of these, like a marine, like, you got, like, a plesiosaur here, like a Tylosaurus here, just, like, a bunch of, I'm trying to think of the word, prehistoric marine reptiles over here, which is very interesting. So I'll get into it now. If you don't know what the premise behind this Godzilla-centered one is going to be, it's sort of going to be, like, delving into Godzilla's mind and sort of, like, what he feels, and what he thinks about everything, like, what's Godzilla thinking? sort of like that. So, yeah, so, like, lots of people are taking what they said in the panel very seriously about, how, like, also, if you didn't know, apparently Baby Scylla is gonna show up in this graphic novel as well. Don't know if that's the case. Might be. Would be awesome if he, or she, I would assume it's a she, showed up. But, like, the illustrator, I think, said, like, I have a feeling that he was saying it as in, like, he was saying it as in, for instance, so he said Godzilla can decide, like, whether or not, like, who's the good kaiju and who's the bad titan, who's the good guy and who's the bad guy, and he can choose to fight the bad guy, of course. And people are taking that really seriously, like, oh, Godzilla's gonna have to choose between two titans, apparently, in the graphic novel. I don't think that's what's gonna happen. I mean, that could be what happens in the graphic novel, but I don't think so. I think that he was just saying that as in, like, explaining, like, Godzilla's complexity as a character and kind of, like, how smart he is and how intelligent he is. So, like, for instance, he could decide between, like, who's the good Titan, who's the bad Titan, because he's just that intelligent. He's not gonna have to choose between two Titans in the graphic novel. And this is a very nice image. I would love to see this in black and white. But it's really showing, like, Godzilla's complexity and how long he's lived, I would assume, over the thousands of years that he's lived. But yeah. This is actually in the book. Again, might be colorized. Don't know if this is going to be black and white, but this is 100% a page from the graphic novel, though, where you can see this goblin shark. You can see, like, its eye, and then you get further and further out from it. And then you can see Godzilla's eye, and then you can see Godzilla underneath. Again, just kind of showing that complexity of his character, and how huge he is as well. But yeah, so that's it. That's all of the stuff from the Godzilla-centered graphic novel for GDK. So let's get into So again, these might be colorized. I have a feeling that they're not incredibly far into the Godzilla-centered one. But it seems like they're a lot farther into the Kong-centered one. So they said that this graphic novel was supposed to be released, or is going to be released, in the fourth quarter of 2020. So that's really cool. Don't really know when they're going to release the Kong-centered one. Hopefully earlier. But yeah, so let's get into that. So here is, again, 100% an image from the Kong graphic novel for GPK. You can see this would appear to be our main character. So the main character of this book, of this comic, is going to be a female pilot, which you can see right here, female jet pilot. You can also see a wing down here. We'll get into that in a second. We'll get into that. This one, I think, is going to be way cooler than the Godzilla-centered one, even though, again, this Godzilla one is going to be showing his complexity and all that, which is really nice to see, that they're bringing that up, but yeah. So, yeah, it looks really nice, looks exactly like the Skull Island Birth of Kong comic. It's actually the same illustrator, Zid, was his name. And the Godzilla one is going to be illustrated by the same guy who did the Godzilla Aftershock comic. So, there's continuity between the comics now, as where the Awakening comic was, I don't know, done by some other guy. But so now the here, let me get them actually. Okay, so for the Godzilla Aftershock comic, it was illustrated by Drew Edward Johnson. So he is also going to be illustrating this comic. So, you know, there's continuity between those two. So it seems like Godzilla comics are going to be, you know, illustrated by Drew Edward Johnson. And the um, the Skull Island Birth of Kong, or the Kong-centered graphic novels, are going to be illustrated by Zid. So, you know, you got some continuity between the books. So that's nice. So there's a page. We'll get to that wing. So here's Kong. This is his design. Even though, again, it's illustrated, so you can't really say, like, this is his design in the movie, which, like, it is. But you can really see how huge Kong is next to the helicopter. I think that the reason why this helicopter looks so big is because, you know, Kong is in the distance. You know, he's a little bit farther away from this helicopter. But he looks awesome. And he looks exactly like how he looked in Skull Island Birth of Kong, which is awesome. He looks amazing, though. Just like how he did in Birth of Kong. I'm just kind of flipping through the pages to see him. And, yeah, he looks exactly like how he did in this one, which is awesome. You can see his beard as well in there. It looks so good. You can also see one of these, like a Skull Island tigers with the antlers. It looks like either maybe Kong slayed this tiger, or either Camazotz maybe killed this tiger. And, you know, Kong's getting mad about it. Yeah, but you can see, like, you know, he's still got his scars on his chest and everything. Like, it looks awesome. He looks super good. A lot thicker as well than he did in Skull Island. You know, he's a lot more puffier, which isn't saying like he's fat. You know, he's got a lot more muscle on him. So this is all the same page as well. So it's just scrolling down. You can see in the helicopter as well, there is what appears to be I forgot his name. Just go ahead and do this. Go ahead and go through this. It was Houston Brooks. There we go. So this is either Houston Brooks or Aaron Brooks was his son. So this is either one of those two. I would assume it's Houston, though. But you can see they're looking up at Kong, and oh my god, he looks so good. So these are either little Camazotz or leaf wings. So it looks like he's either looking at them or he's just kind of walking off. Which he does start walking off. Also, it looks like his fur is a little bit more gray as well. Just a little bit. That looks awesome, though. Looks so good. So, we all know about Camazotz. This image, if you didn't know, was revealed during the King of the Monsters watch-along from Legendary themselves. They revealed this image. So we didn't before have a look of what Camazotz was going to look like in the comic itself. Now we do, though. Now we have a good look at what it's going to look like in the graphic novel, and he looks so much better than he did here. It's weird, because, like, he doesn't look really at all like how he did in this one. I mean, you know, kind of, you know, he kind of looks like this, of course. It's basic silhouette, but, like, his face looks way different. But, yeah, so before I get into what Camazotz looks like, I'll just kind of say what the people at the panel said. So, they said, like, for instance, just sort of saying, like, for instance, so, like, they said, like, Rodan represents fire, and Ghidorah represents electricity and lightning, and all of that. So they wanted Camazotz to represent, like, darkness and the embodiment. He's like, they wanted him to be like the embodiment of a nightmare, which is awesome. It's so cool. Yeah. As soon as they said that, I immediately, like, started to fall in love with Camazotz. Hold on, just a second. I just started immediately falling in love with Camazotz. As soon as they said that, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm into it." And then they showed the image from the comic as well of Camazotz, and he looks amazing. So this is Camazotz in the comic, and you can see our protagonist as well. But, yeah, he looks awesome. Assuming that's a he. They in the panel, they did say that Camazotz, they did refer to Camazotz as male, so, Camazotz, as far as we know, is a he. But he looks awesome. He looks so much cooler than he did right here. You can see, like, his wings are, like, again, like, shredded and, like, really gnarly looking, almost like Rodan. You got some of that Rodan, like, creases right here with the scaling, and the armoring, sort of. But, like, he's kind of like a dark Rodan, almost. You can see, like, well, actually, now that you've gotten a closer image of Camazotz, we'll get into the full image that they showed. So you can see, like, Camazotz right here, and he's got, like, the moon shining behind him, and you got all the jets being torn apart. But the swarm of Camazotz as well. These are, like, tiny little Camazotz. It would appear, at least. Like, little tiny bats. But you can see that their wings aren't really, like, shredded like Camazotz is. So this could be a sort of like what the skull crawlers were. So, like, this is the big one, and then you got, like, these smaller, like, offspring almost. Which I think is awesome. You can see they're, like, just completely tearing apart all the jets and stuff. And again, you can see our female protagonist, and it looks like she's having a fever dream. Like, I love this, like, purple and magenta and all the reds and stuff. Like, it looks really cool. And you've even got that, like, in the surrounding area and stuff. It's very dark. You can definitely tell what they meant by, like, they wanted him to be the embodiment of a nightmare. You can see, like, the protagonist is even having a nightmare because he wakes up from this nightmare. So, what I'm really hoping for is that Camazotz sort of, like, affects people's minds. Sort of like, if we get a Mysterio Far From Home scene with Camazotz and our female protag in this comic, Camazotz is just the best thing ever. Dude, that would be so cool. But yeah, this Camazotz looks so cool. But, yeah, so that's it. That's all of it. So yeah, there you go. There's my little gush rant. Really, it's an anti-rant about Camazotz. So yeah, can't wait for both of those graphic novels. Can't wait for all of the Funko Pops. Can't wait for this Camp Cretaceous stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching. You can leave a like, subscribe, post notifications, all of that other stuff. I'll see you guys in the next video that I make, hopefully, sometime soon. Bye.